Hello, hello! Welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. This is your host Maverick, and today we're going to be starting a new series, Assassin's Pride. So, as usual, I'll be structuring my videos into 3 parts. I'll have an introduction or a recap at the very beginning, I'll have my blind reactions at the middle, and then at the very end will be my specialty, my musings, in regards to discussion, maybe in-depth reference review, or so on and so forth. What I like, what I didn't like about a particular episode, and potentially doing some theory crafting and predictions as well. They'll all be timestamped below for your convenience, so you can just jump to whatever part you want. So, let's talk a little bit about this, right? So, this is a light novel turned anime adaptation, right? As lots of anime are. The original light novel itself isn't actually all that highly regarded, if I may say so myself. And so, you know, I read the basic premise of the anime, or of the series, of the work, right? And to be honest, I wasn't that impressed either. Not to mention, it's being adapted by EMT Squared, which is not really that. It's not really a studio that inspires confidence, and neither is the director, if I'm being entirely honest here. So, you know, already you can see a lot of potential red flags for this adaptation. The seiyus, the voice actors, there are a few that I like, but, you know, as we've seen before with Shometsu Toshi, having a strong voice actor cast is not going to necessarily save an anime from being shit, right? So, it was hard for me to gauge whether I wanted to continue with this or not. But I watched a few promotional videos. Now, of course, those can also be misleading as well, but the animation for the most part seemed pretty okay, right? And, in terms of the actual story, while I wasn't that impressed with the premise, I looked up on Wikipedia in regards to light novel, and I saw some interesting things there, especially in regards to, you know, the world setting and the organizational settings and whatnot, the hierarchies. So I thought, hey, let's just give it a shot, right? Again, my confidence level is not that high, so I don't know whether or not I'm going to be continuing to make a series on this, but I figured I'd at least give it 3 or 4 episodes as a test run to see if it's any good. So, on that note, let's just get into the episode right now. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And of course, as a lot of people are saying, you know, the main character looks a lot like Rito from Sword Art Online. Okay, interesting use of light there. And this is not an isekai, right? Nichan, and they translate it as buddy? Come on, Crunchyroll. Status. Mercer of an assassin. Sorry for that. Ropes. Oh, the sound. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention the sound director is one of the few guys which I can recognize, who is actually pretty good. Okay. So maybe late 19th century technology levels? Okay. What is she wearing? Is she? Nice legs. Yeah, her entire midriff is exposed. Interesting clothing. Yeah, late 19th century seems about right. Okay, so he healed the cat? Amy. Okay. Love at first sight. You're wearing a short skirt, you know. Really? And what would happen if he wasn't there? Right. So this dude obviously can use some kind of powers, right? I mean, this is a fantasy series after all. What time is it actually? It seems like it's late out.
教えていただくのはお勉強？それともマナの使い方？いけない。おしゃべりしている時間はないわね。ねえメリダ、稽古の相手をして。
能力者に様々な授け、身体能力を常人以上に高めさせる力、マナ。選ばれし貴族階級のみに授けられた技。
Only the chosen noble class.
7歳前後で覚醒する。おお、綺麗な方。彼女は三大騎士公爵家のパラディンであるアンジェル家の娘。
That's called beautiful form?
今日に至るまで全くマナを発言できず。
How's that in any way, shape, or form
以上。
a competent form?
あれがマナを持たないメリダ・アンジェルの限界。
ねえメリダ、そんなざまで夢を叶えられますの？あら、夢？それって何の話ですの、ネルバ様？この子、クレストレギオンに入って人々の希望の剣となるのが幼い頃からの夢なんですって。私、それを言っているのが噂の無能最初だと知っておかしかって。そうそう、エリーゼ様が取られた新しい家庭教師の方はクレストレギオンのエリートなんですって。いたの？そうは昔にパラディンの異界を覚醒させていらっしゃるエリーゼ様ですもの。その方に指導していただけば、あっという間にクレストレギオンに入れてしまうわね。私は
What?
騎士公爵家の分家の血筋でメリダ城とはいとこの間柄、エリーゼ・アンジェルか。
Okay.
なんで追いかけてくるのよ。あんたもどうせ無理だって言いたいんでしょ。
Look at their legs. Like,
気安くリタって呼ばないで。
無能最女の目標はギルドの最高峰クレストレギオンへの入隊。笑えない冗談。
mm-hmm.
メリダ城の祖父モルドリュ教はマナに覚醒しない彼女をアンジェル家の本当の娘ではないと疑っている。つまりエルスネス教がメリダ城の母メリノア様の不倫だったと。
どうかな。こうなっちまったんじゃ何にもわからんし。そこでいよいよもってお前さんの出番となるわけだ。お前の一つ目の任務はこうだ。メリダ・アンジェル城の家庭教師となり導き、騎士公爵家にふさわしい戦乙女へと教育せよ。
外がダメなら内からというわけか。
これは専門の講師が必要だって話になったわけだ。
今日一日観察したがメリダ・アンジェルに才覚は全く見られない。結論、彼女は騎士公爵ベルグス・アンジェルの実の娘ではない。よって私は二つ目の任務
Alright. But I at least got this much from the synopsis. It makes sense in a twisted way. But, twisting it as justification for an assassination isn't... Okay. What? So... Okay. But... What? How did she... I thought she ran off by herself or something and wanted to train in secret. Okay. I'm... If it's... Well, that was cool, but... You mind telling me why you had a change of mind? Put her in a life or death situation. If only nobles can use mana, wouldn't that mean that this guy is also a noble as well? What? Oh my god. There are so many. Ooh? Was the kiss really necessary now? I mean, you literally had to lick. Oh my god. Okay. Let me mute this real quick because I don't want to get copyright struck by the song. Is this like a character song? Sung by the voice actor? Possible. Wait, that's literally it? But there's still 2 minutes left. I don't know, man. I'm not. Yeah, it's a character song. Well, it's an ending song. I don't know if it's a character song or not. Alright, some more. Oh, so she did get mana now. Nietzsche.
私が暗殺者だということももちろん秘密。そして同時にクライアントのモルドリュー卿や私の属する白夜には彼女の本当の出自と私が彼女に深く肩入れしていることを隠し通さなければ。
Alright, so there is a way to grant mana to others.
だからどうか My little lady
My little lady. Seriously? Alright. Alrighty, that was the first episode. And as usual, for those of my longtime viewers who have watched me already, you guys would know that I'm typically brutally honest on these kinds of reviews, right? So let me just start by saying that I am not impressed at all with this first episode. Now, there are a few things I like about this. I like the initial action scene. It did seem pretty nice, well animated at least. Definitely a surprise coming from, again, this studio and this director, which haven't really made anything particularly good in the past. But, you know, it's pretty decent, right? I especially like the use of the light effects in the initial scene, which was dark, and then, you know, having the blades go around with the lighting. That was a pretty well animated action scene, right? I do like the world design and setting of this as well, such as the, you know, all these cities and whatnot being stylized as candelabrums. It definitely looks unique in a certain way. They look like they're underground or something. It's definitely not artificial light, right? We see in the initial stages where I guess some sort of, maybe it's magic, mana or something like that, but it's basically powering the city. And I believe that, you know, within the entire context of the candelabrum, there's lots of candles which represent all the different cities or districts, right? So I do like the kind of setting here. And using a sort of late 19th century, early 20th century sort of technology style, also fairly fun as well as a world setting. And of course, we do see some of these gamification systems that are set in place here, right? And that was one of the initial draws for me into this series, which is, you know, the main character mentions stuff such as status, such as paladins, you know, such as these power levels or whatnot. It seems that, and that kind of coincides with what I read on the Wikipedia as well, and that is that this is a series where, you know, you got classes and whatnot, and it's really a full RPG system here, right? Except that it's not an isekai, which a lot of these stuff are. It's an actual, just straight up fantasy series, right? So, you know, it's got some of these decent things here. Now, the main problem I have with this is just that it's entirely too corny, right? In terms of its in terms of its development, in terms of its dialogue and whatnot. And really, let's just focus on the two main characters, right? Kufa and Merida. Kufa, you know, why the heck is this even called Assassin's Pride, right? If you had pride as an assassin, you would carry out your job, and instead you're what you call it? You're going back against your word, right? And even in the episode, he made the entire speech about, okay, his pride as an assassin or whatnot to put this girl out of her misery. I don't know. Pride to me in this case would be carrying out the mission. This seems more like you have some other morals that you want to abide by, or some other stuff that you want to do, and so that's why you, from a personal level, decided to save her, right? Like, and even that, I would have been okay with this if maybe they let their relationship build up a little bit more, and so tell us like why exactly Kufa in the end decided to stay on the side of Marina, right? Like, why did he fall for her so soon? Kufa seems to be this type of, you know, cold-blooded assassin, right? Sure, he's got his, you know, gentlemanly tendencies and whatnot, which, you know, it's okay to me. I do like this kind of character as well, but he seems to be, you know, a professional, right? So how come this professional in this setting literally is, you know, straying so far from his original morals and missions just from meeting this girl for a day, right? Love at first sight? Maybe not, but still, it would have been better if we had a little bit more chance for them to maybe get to know each other a little bit, and then really allow Kufa to make his decision in the end, right? And not to mention, no, don't even get me started on like, I'm sure some people are gonna be like, oh, but Merida is acting like a strong female character, and she's not receiving help from anyone. She's standing up for herself, and she's got her own convictions as well. Like, okay, fine, that's fine and all, but at the end of the day, you're still relying on Kufa to do this, right? Kufa, you're still letting her live in a lie. She does not have these powers, these mana powers by herself. You're using some kind of cheat to give this to her. You used a potion to give it to her. And, okay, potentially down the line, we could see a twist later, and that is she actually had mana in herself all along. It's just manifesting a little bit slower or whatnot. I could see this kind of twist coming in the future, right? But at the present day, still, I don't know. I'm not really all that sold on the basic premise and interactions between these characters, right? I thought it was pretty ridiculous. And not even ridiculous in the funny or over the top kind of way. It's just corny. It's just corny. And also the entire self dialogue as well. Like, it's not even an inner monologue. She's literally saying it out loud to no one for any reason while she was being surrounded by those monsters. And those monsters, like, what even were they? They weren't even really trying to kill her or whatnot. Do they have intelligence of some sort? I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it, like, as a rule of principle, I'm not just gonna drop this immediately, since I do believe that you need to watch a few episodes to get a better feel for a series. But in this case, I don't know, man. I really don't have that high of hopes for this becoming an actual series that I'm going to do. So, yeah, I'm sorry if there are any of you guys who do like this. Well, again, I'm sorry, but it's not really, so far within the story, it's not really the story for me, right? So, if I do eventually drop it, I'm sure others are still watching as well. And of course, I'm sure that there are some reviewers out there who do like this. Personally, I'm just hoping that they can actually make the story a little bit better from the next episode, but I'm not holding my expectations too high on that part. So, there we go. That's my review for the first episode. I'll see you guys next week to see if it picks up any better, if it's going to pick itself up. Merida does actually have abilities now, so maybe this is going to be like sort of a revenge story. We get to see her get her revenge on all those people who laughed at her in the academy and whatnot. We'll see, right? So, that was it. This is Maverick signing out. Bye-bye.